Off the coast of Port Richey lies one of Florida's most unusual and enduring landmarks, the Stilt houses, a rare reminder of old Florida. Their origins are still debated. Some credit William John Bailey Jr., while others point to James Washington Clark Jr. What is known is that by the late 1910s, fishermen were already building simple camps off the coast of Port Richey, placing shelter directly in the heart of the mullet runs they relied on for a living. Before outboard motors, fishermen poled flatboats miles offshore. These early camps provided a place to rest, watch the tides, salt and pack fish, and wait out storms. According to John Gray, some of the first structures stood between 1916 and 1918, born out of necessity, long before they became something more personal. By the mid-20th century, the camps had evolved into family retreats. Pasco families, the Allgoods, Baileys, Littles, Sawyers, Stevensons, Swartzels, and others, built modest wooden houses on pilings driven deep into limestone beneath the seafloor. There was no electricity, no running water, and no road home. Everything arrived by boat. Life offshore was simple. Gas lamps lit the nights. Ice chests replaced refrigerators. Fresh water came in drums. Fishing lines dropped straight from the porch, while dolphins, pelicans, and schools of trout moved beneath the floorboards. Time slowed down. From shore, the houses looked like mirages, weathered silhouettes standing against an endless horizon. To those who owned them, they were sanctuaries, a place without traffic or schedules, a place where children learned to fish, and sunsets became traditions. By 1968, as many as 24 stilt houses stood off West Pasco. That changed when Hurricane Gladys tore through the coast, destroying most of them. In the aftermath, Florida banned any new construction over state waters. Only existing camps were allowed to rebuild, and only under strict rules. Owners were grandfathered in, required to lease the submerged land beneath their homes, and warned that if a structure suffered more than 50% damage, it could never be rebuilt again. Still, the camps endured, and so did their stories. Johnny Cash was a frequent visitor, escaping fame at Des Little's camp. On at least one visit, he was joined by Billy Graham. Storms and fires continued to thin their numbers, but a handful survived. In 1998, with leases set to expire, Florida's governor and cabinet granted a reprieve, extending the camp's lives under historic and environmental protections. Today, fewer than a dozen stilt houses remain. They cannot be replaced. Every repair matters. Every storm season brings uncertainty. Yet, for those willing to make the journey, they are still there. If you want to see them for yourself, the most common starting point is Brasher Park. From there, a kayak trip offshore brings you within view of the houses. Another option is paddling toward Durney Key, where, on calm days, you can sit on the beach and watch the stilt houses rise quietly from the horizon. These stilt houses are more than structures. They are living history, a reminder of old Florida, and a place where time, even now, seems willing to slow down.